Guys, look who it is. The man that's requested on the channel the most. Salman's in the house. Salman, we witnessed Jermell Lyons only Charlo v Brian Castano. You've obviously had your opinion about the Charlos over the years. I believe Charlo's a quality fighter. I feel Brian Castano showed that he's a world-class fighter. And it was a fight of the year candidate, no question. Back and forth. Brilliant fight. What did you make of it?
So I think that firstly, I think Brian Castano won the fight. I think most people thought Brian Castano won the fight. Everyone came out and said that, obviously because of Charlo's name, really he got a draw there. In my opinion, he got lucky. He caught him Charlo caught him with some good shots, but he couldn't put him away. And I think, the majority of the rounds, I think Brian Castano won because of his pressure.
It was a close fight. It was a very close fight.
But in my eyes, I think Castano won. It might have been a close eyes in some people's eyes, but in my opinion, he at least won 8 of the rounds. Although I've only watched the highlights. But I think Brian Castano, from what I've seen from the highlights, I thought he was, a lot of people came out and said that we thought Castano won, and even Sean Porter came out, and Sean Porter's, supporter of Charlo.
But Salman, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Don't you think a lot of people are being biased because Charlo was a politically connected fighter? So as soon as the fight's a little close, people shout robbery. A robbery is not 7-5. I had the fight 7-5 to Brian Castano, but I can easily see a draw. There's no way you can call that fight a robbery. It was a very close fight. Let's not forget Charlo staggered Brian Castano several times in that fight. So are you saying that's a robbery?
I don't know whether it's a robbery. I had it 8-4. So if you think however you think a scorecard of 8-4 is, that's my opinion. Obviously, everyone else's opinion might be different. Some people might, it's all subjective, and it depends. Some people have it 6-6, some people have it 8-4, some people may have it 10-2. But for sure, Charlo didn't win 8-4. He didn't definitely.
So
win.
What I wanted to ask you,
didn't one of the judges give like a stupid card?
Yeah, 117, 111 to Jermell Charlo.
Even the guy that basically does the Showtime thing, Stephen Espinosa, came and said that was not right. That was basically ridiculous. So if he's saying that, and he basically,
what do you make of that scorecard? What do you make of that scorecard?
No, that's nonsense. That's why even the PBC guy, Stephen Espinosa, came out and said, no, that's wrong. That's ridiculous, and he promotes Charlo basically. So if he's saying that, then that basically means that they don't agree with the decision. And I think a lot of fighters don't agree with the decision. Terence Crawford came out. He said that's why you're not on the pound for pound is because you need to perform better than that. You can't. You lost to Tony Harrison.
And then he avenged the loss. He knocked him out in the rematch.
Yeah, he avenged the loss, but now he's had another questionable fight.
I believe he'll knock him out in the rematch as well. See, here's the thing with Charlo, Salman. Jermell Charlo, I believe he struggles to make the adjustments during the fight. However, he's got one of the best coaches in the business in Derek James. They go back, they look at tape, they look at what they've got to do, and then they come back and they do the job. So what Jermell Charlo did wrong, Jermell Charlo stayed on the ropes against Brian Castano. Brian Castano is a very effective pressure fighter. So basically what Jermell Charlo did, he gave Brian Castano a chance he didn't have. Basically went on the ropes, and Brian Castano's a great fighter. Brian Castano also made it a fight where he pushed Jermell back, pressured him on the ropes. But if Jermell Charlo fights that fight from the center of the ring, Brian Castano can't win that fight.
If he obviously fails to make adjustments, then when he fights someone else, I don't know whether he's planning on moving up or what, but if he's like in certain fights, like he fails to make adjustments, he's not always going to get the nod. Then it's as simple as that. He's going to have a lot more losses on his record if because he got. Let's be honest. He in my opinion, I thought that fight should have gone to Brian Castano.
So, in your opinion, was Brian Castano robbed of being undisputed super welterweight champion of the world?
From in my opinion, yes, and from a lot of other people's opinions, yes as well.
No, what's your opinion? I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, because if I score the card 8-4 to a person, then I feel that that guy should get it. So yeah, I believe he should have got it. And the reason I don't think he got it is because Charlo's name, innit?
So, in a rematch, what happens?
It could go either way. Either Charlo could knock him out and make the adjustments, or Brian Castano could just do a bit more of what he did here, basically. A bit more pressure.
But Salman, here's the thing. Brian Castano is going to fight this type of fight. What can Brian Castano do to be better? Charlo can be better because he can fight from the center of the ring. So
Charlo's best bet is to get a knockout, because like even in the Tony Harrison rematch, I don't even think he was up on the cards with that one. If you look at it properly, until he got the knockout, he needed that knockout. He knew deep inside, even in the rematch, he needed that knockout. Otherwise, that fight was close as well. So I don't know how. Like, he's a good fighter, but I don't know at what level this guy is until he steps in there with a proper elite fighter. Where
you don't think Brian Castano's an elite fighter?
I'm talking about someone in the pound for pound list. You know, like Canelo's on that sort of level. I just don't think I don't think like people are saying that Charlo's, you know, I know that's the other one, but they're saying he's going to step up. Like Canelo, nah, he'll get battered, man. Like, if he's struggling here, then against someone like this, I don't think he's going to be a formidable champion, in my opinion. I just think the fighters he's fighting on that level where the fighters he's fighting on the top 10 in the pound for pound list. When he fights an elite level fighter,
but you don't think Brian Castano's a top 154 pounder?
Yeah, in his own weight, but he's not one of the, like, in the last 20 years, not one of the best 154 pounders out there, is he? He's not better than.
I would say Brian Castano's a top 154 pound champion, and in your opinion, he should be undisputed champion. He should have had all the belts around his waist, in your opinion.
Yeah, but that's cool, but you got to realize that then Brian Castano, if he was, then he has to go and then fight other good fighters.
Yeah, but
is he going to win those fights?
He beat Lara as well, so you've got to give him credit, you know what I mean? So, and also he beat Errol Spence in the amateurs. He's dropped Errol Spence twice in the amateurs and beat him, you know? So this is a guy that's a very decorated fighter. So he's not, Brian Castano is a top man. You know, he's no...
Yeah, but either way, that's sticking to the topic. I don't think Jermell Charlo, I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think, as Terence Crawford said, he's not. That's why he's not in the pound for pound list.
Does Jermell Charlo knock out Terence Crawford?
At what weight?
What do you mean, what weight? Jermell can't make 147 at 154.
Yeah, but what if Crawford can't make 154?
No, but they're talking about that fight at 154. Who wins that fight at 154?
If Charlo connects something, then he could maybe knock Crawford out, because I don't know how well he would take a shot at 154. But in terms of skill level and ability, Crawford hands down, he'd take him out apart, man. Someone like that.
Someone was actually saying that Crawford could stop Charlo. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, with his skill level and just what they mean by that. He's not going to knock him out with one shot, but he's just going to literally obliterate him with skill. He's just gonna. I just don't see someone like Crawford.
Will Crawford be able to keep Charlo off of him? Charlo's a big guy.
I think Crawford's quite tough. I think he's got a lot of strength as well. He seems like he's easy, but
so you think if Crawford? I put you on the spot. Who wins, Crawford or Jermell?
I'm going for Crawford, because a puncher's chance. You got to realize someone like Crawford coming into the fight is going to know that he can punch, but let's be honest, man. Jermell Charlo's not better than Terence Crawford, man. That's stupid, man. Everyone knows that deep down that he's not.
Yeah, but being better than someone doesn't mean you're going to win.
I think it does, man. In this situation, I just think Crawford's better than him in all areas. Like, he's not. I don't think that he's gonna have to knock Crawford out.
So is Terence Crawford better than Brian Castano and better than Tony Harrison?
Yes.
So you think he beats Brian Castano, Terence Crawford?
Yes. Terence Crawford's an elite level fighter, man. He just hasn't had in my opinion, hasn't had the chance. For him to be a great at 147, he needs to fight the guys at 147. But I believe if he does get the opportunity, I think he'll prevail because I just think he's...
Okay,
class.
Errol Spence against Brian Castano and Jermell Charlo, who wins?
Errol Spence.
You think Errol Spence beats both of them?
What, Charlo and Brian Castano?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. There's not... Errol Spence is a way better fighter than Jermell Charlo and that guy. Castano, way better, way more decorated, way more polished, better jab. He knows how to use his distance, can make adjustments. A lot better fighter. A lot better. I've always rated Errol Spence better than both of those guys. Both the Charlos. Spence is a better... That's Derek James' number one cherry. That's his best fighter that he has. And he knows that. He knows that as well. That's Errol Spence is my best fighter.
If Canelo Alvarez fought Jermell, if Jermell moved up to 160 and they fought... any chance? Do you think any of the Charlos have any chance against the Saul Canelo Alvarez?
They might do well for a few rounds, but they're not going to beat Canelo, man. They don't have anything that Canelo's going to be afraid of. They don't have enough power to knock Canelo out because Canelo's been in there with light heavyweights and they couldn't do anything. So, nah, they ain't got no. It's like basically, it's they have as much chance as what Billy Joe had basically, which is zero. You're not going to beat Canelo unless you're Gennady Golovkin, where you can fight a dogfight for 12 rounds against someone of that caliber, which I don't think they're going to be able to do anyways, because as soon as they get hit flush by someone like a Canelo, I'm not saying they'll go down with one shot, because they're tough. One thing I will say about the two Charlos, they've got good chins, but I think Canelo has the ability to stop him, because Canelo's just an all-rounded top quality fighter. You know, you can punch to the body, you know, he knows how to set you up. He's just an overall world-class fighter. And even Charlo's even said it himself, that Canelo's the best in the world right now. No one can compare to him. So if someone's saying it himself, then what type of belief does he have? If you believe you're the best, you say, no, I'm the best in the world. Why were you going to say someone else? He's like, yeah, Canelo's the best by far right now.
Yeah, but he's giving his opinion on what Canelo's done and achieved. You can't, you know, he's being honest.
And hence why I don't think, because of that reason.
So you don't think Jermell Charlo's a top 10 pound for pound? He's a unified champion at 154. Do you think he deserves a place in the top 10 pound for pound?
Not really, I don't think so. I think with the pound for pound stuff, it is quite subjective, but people are looking for more.
Who's better, Josh Taylor or Jermell Charlo?
Probably Josh Taylor, because obviously he's undisputed and I don't know, in my opinion, I think it's obviously, first of all, he's undefeated as well. Yeah. He's undisputed, and you know, his last performance was quite convincing, to be fair. He had a good fight, he dropped the guy twice and he became undisputed, and he's undefeated. So if you were to put on the pound for pound list, do you think Josh Taylor... I don't even think Josh Taylor, in my opinion, he might be in the top 15, but I don't know whether I have him in the top 10. I don't know. Because even
people have Josh Taylor in the top 5.
If Josh Taylor goes up to 147 and has a big win there, then I would probably say that, all right, yeah, he demands to be on the pound for pound list. But what weight did he start his career at?
140.
So he's not even like a 2-weight world champion, 3-weight. To be great, you've got to move up.
Yeah, but Errol Spence is not. He's in the top 5 and he's not moved up.
Yeah, but even he needs to move up. Even Floyd Mayweather said that if Errol Spence can't get the Terence Crawford fight, he needs to move up. But is he going to move up and fight Charlo? I don't think so. So maybe that's what's holding him back. Maybe he would have already gone up to 154. Then it might be a case you go 160 and fight Triple G. Even Spence is what he's still.
So what determines the pound for pound then? What determines pound for pound? Is it the level of opposition? Is it the way you perform?
I think the level of opposition, the way you perform, and how many weight classes you've won a world title in my opinion, and how many weight classes you've dominated. Although yeah, those weight classes might be weak, but you can only perform to what's there, innit? Well, what can you do? Like, people question Terence Crawford, they say, oh, you beat Ndongo, no one knows who that is, which is true, but
you dominated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But people question that oh no, it was against weak opposition.
So some people say that
even Josh Taylor, people say that he's only undisputed because, you know, it's a weak weight class at that time, which in my opinion I agree with. If Josh Taylor was in the weight class of when Terence Crawford was there, would he be undisputed? I don't think so.
No, but who would, apart from Terence Crawford, would you pick Josh Taylor not to beat?
Who was there at that time?
No one really. And Dongo, John Molina, there was Henrik Lundy.
That's what I'm saying. So
but
apart from Crawford,
who does Josh Taylor beat Terence Crawford?
No, I don't think so. You got to look at it like this. Do you think Josh Taylor would dispatch of someone like Kell Brook how Crawford did? Nah, no way. I think that would be a good fight, Brook versus Josh Taylor. I think that'd be a great fight actually. But you've seen how Crawford dealt with Brook how he needed to be dealt with. A washed up fighter, and he knocked him out in what, I think 2-3 rounds. So
can I ask you a question? When Amir Khan was a top 140-pound fighter in that weight class, that division at that point at 140, where there was Khan, Matisse, Maidana, Zab Judah, Paulie Malignaggi, Lamont Peterson, Danny Garcia, do you think Josh Taylor becomes undisputed in that weight class?
No. I don't think he beats Marcus Maidana. I don't think he beats Khan. I think he'll struggle against. He could pull it off against Garcia if he can stay away from the shots. But no, I don't think he'll beat Khan. I don't think he'll beat Maidana for sure. And I don't think he'll beat Danny Garcia as well. He might even struggle against Peterson because those guys were all top quality fighters, hands down. The only reason why he's undisputed is because the weight class is weak. If he's that quality, go become undisputed at 147, because that's when we'll really see how good you are. That's how I see it. Because you've got to realize the weight above him is all of those guys are good. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. He ain't having his way against those guys.
What about the prospects like Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz and
what, Josh Taylor against them?
Yeah,
he needs to fight them. That's his next step up. But what's he going to do now? But what does he want to do? Fight Terence Crawford? He's going to fight Terence Crawford, and I pretty much guarantee he's going to come up short. And then what's he going to do? Go back to 140, fight Gervonta Davis? What's he going to do?
Well, what do you think? What do you think? Obviously, he has a great chance of beating Gervonta Davis.
I think he should rather fight Gervonta Davis.
Or Teofimo Lopez.
Because, which one's a bigger fight? I think Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta Davis is a bigger fight, in my opinion. I think there's more money to be made there. But the thing is, Josh Taylor said that, I'd destroy someone like that in a few rounds. So if he believes that, he'll destroy Gervonta Davis in a few rounds. I've seen in interviews that, I'll knock him out in a couple of rounds. So I don't believe that. I think that's a load of nonsense. He ain't knocking Gervonta Davis out in 2 rounds. He's just obviously trying to big himself up. But, in one interview you said that, no, if Gervonta Davis lands, it could be night-night. And then in one interview you're saying something else. But I don't know. I just think the difference, what I see in I think Gervonta Davis is a special fighter. I don't think Josh Taylor is a special. I don't see anything. I think he does all the fundamentals good, but he doesn't have that X factor about him. Like, he doesn't have anything that he possesses that he can change a fight. He doesn't. I don't see anything. Like Crawford, you see something special in him. With Taylor, I just think he's good. He does the fundamentals really great, but I don't think he's special at anything. Whereas someone like a Davis, I see something special with him. But it might not be with his boxing ability. It might. What I'm talking here, he has ability to change a fight. He could be 9 rounds down and he could still win the fight.
Here's the thing with Davis though. Davis ain't fighting anybody. Let's be honest. He's cherry picking. Davis. He's not really fighting the top level opposition. He's not fighting the.
Even Eddie Earn got back at him that basically you need to fight rather than going up to 140. These are basically put a list like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo. He's like, these are the legacy fights that what basically the fans want to see, right? I think personally, Ryan Garcia is all cap because basically Leonard Ellaby basically they spoke about that fight with Ryan Garcia and they said to Leonard Ellaby, Ryan Garcia is not ready yet. When they spoke last year,
I think Ryan Garcia's got. I think they're trying to build experience. He'll be ready. Ryan Garcia.
But Ryan Garcia is the one that's calling Davis out on the interview.
We'll see. I don't think they'll be. I don't think they'll. I think Ryan Garcia. They're trying to build.
No, eventually they'll fight, but right now he's capping.
No, he's not capping. He's doing the right thing. He's doing the right thing. Believe you me, he's doing the right thing. Ryan Garcia is being built properly, and that's the way you need to be built. Gervonta Davis is the one that's needs to step up his game.
Yeah, but who's he going to fight now?
Taylor. He's at 140. Why not call out Taylor? Taylor wants that fight. Is Mayweather going to make that fight?
I don't know who he's fighting next, but I want to see him fight one of the guys where I want to see him fight an undisputed champion. A lot of people are criticizing him. If I'm going to be honest, I don't see the point of him moving to 130. I don't want to see him move to 130 now. I want to see him campaign at 135 and 140. The reason why I don't want him to campaign at 130, although people are saying that, oh, you know what, Jojo Diaz will run rings around Davis. Come on, let's be real. Like, if he lands one on Jojo Diaz, like, it's out. He's out. If he's knocking a big 140 guy out that was 6-7 inches taller than him, right, and stopping him.
But he wasn't a top 140.
But at 130, he's putting those guys to sleep. Like, he'll be beating people up at 130. Because at 130, he ain't gonna care what's coming back. At 140, he's gonna care what's coming back. So those guys have a chance of beating him. Like, Josh Taylor could easily outmaneuver Gervonta Davis because he might be scared about what's coming back. But do you think against someone like Jojo Diaz, he's gonna care what's coming back? He's just gonna walk forward with his hands up because he knows he has a granite chin anyways, right? He's just gonna walk forward and let his hands go. And if he lets volume go, one of them big like haymakers are gonna land, and he's not like he's got the worst boxing skills where he's just he can stop you to the body, he can stop you. He's got brutal body shots as well. He stopped Barrios with a brutal body shot. So even Josh Taylor, I don't think that's an easy fight for Josh Taylor. If he thinks that he's gonna get on the inside and bully him, I don't think so. I think if Josh Taylor needs to look to box in that fight and give Gervonta Davis no chance. Because if he stands there in the center and tries to with Davis's uppercuts, you don't know, one of those uppercuts just come up with mean intentions. It could be in the night over. It could be you could change the fight with one shot. So let's see what happens. But he needs to step up his game for sure.
All right, guys, there you go. Salman gives his opinion about the Brian Castano, Jermell Charlo, Gervonta Davis, Josh Taylor. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video. Peace.